Hi guys, and welcome to 5-Minute Mastery. In this video, I'm going to be talking about something that is really important in the martial arts and of course to us in terms of Krav Maga, and that is hand speed. Hand speed is obviously important because all our counterattacks need to be done with speed, precision, aggression, etc. And many people try to train for hand speed by going and hitting the bag as hard as they can or sparring. In other words, they're making a conscious effort to just be faster. And it goes a little bit deeper than that, and I'm going to share today with you a couple of very simple techniques and drills that you can try at home. Some of these you can do with a partner, a great many of them you can do on your own. The first thing you need to take into account is the fact that hand speed has nothing to do with muscular strength. Hand speed comes about as a result of nervous system activation. In other words, how well your brain communicates with the nerves in the muscles and connective tissue of your arms and your body. And that process isn't initiated from a physical perspective. It's initiated from your mind. So it involves visualization. It involves training really, really slowly. If I throw my hand out and I do that and bring it back again, if I do it too fast in the beginning, what happens is my brain initiates the action. The hand flies out on autopilot because of momentum, and it comes back almost without thinking. But it's losing neuromuscular facilitation, or the connection between the mind and the nervous system on the way out. So there are gaps in the information sequence. And by moving really, really slowly, like somebody doing Tai Chi, and just relaxing all the way through the movement, in other words, breaking it down into segments that are at first maybe 10 centimeters in length, and then 1 centimeter, and then 1 millimeter, and becoming conscious of each of those phases, you start grooving that movement into your mind far more effectively and successfully than if you rush things and just try and throw your hands. It works very, very well. And once you've grooved the movement in by practicing it a couple of 100 times, you can then start speeding it up step by step. There are some physical drills you can do as well once you've nailed this. And they include simple things like having a partner hold up a piece of paper in front of you. And when your partner drops the piece of paper, strike the piece of paper. It not only engenders hand speed, but hand-eye coordination and reflex speed as well. One of the most effective methods that I've come across of becoming faster is one of the most absurdly simple. And that is the mirror method or the shadow method. In the old martial arts circles, they would literally talk about shadow boxing. In other words, you would try to beat your shadow, and you can do this outdoors. You can do it very simply, a shadow against a wall or on the ground. And as you throw strikes, as you move around, try and do so in such a way that you beat your own shadow or beat your own reflection. I know that sounds childish, but it is incredibly effective in terms of recruiting your mind and your nervous system. A modern version of that would be to have you do a number of strikes and video yourself doing them. Just do them on your phone. And then replay the video to yourself and try and beat the image that you see on the video. It's an incredibly easy and effective way of becoming super fast. And one of the best ways to develop elasticity in the connective tissues is by doing things like plyometrics, in other words, jumping push-ups, jumping squats, that kind of thing. Or to do some kind of strength training where the strength curve or the power curve varies from one point to the next. The further my hand travels out, the more resistance there is, the more muscular recruitment there is, and the more elasticity is required of my connective tissue. The key here is to get your mind into the muscle. It's not just pulling something apart or trying to lift something. It's actually being conscious of what you're recruiting. One of the common weak points when striking something is, of course, the impact area. So your hand, your wrist, the connective tissue throughout your arm, and the muscles themselves, which need to be strong enough to absorb the impact. You can just do a good old curl where you're simply grabbing the band, keeping your arm strictly at your side and curling up. From here, grab the band behind the back like that, stretch it down and simply stretch upward, extend the tricep, take it down under control. And that allows you from that position to practice dynamic stretching of the arm, which also forces your hand to stabilize, your wrist, your grip, everything gets engaged. And it's a really good way to train for speed as opposed to strength. If I do this kind of movement where my hand is moving out from the center of the body, or almost like a hammer fist movement, a stabbing movement, I'm engaging all those joints in a kind of a chain reaction So the kinetic energy, the potential energy stored up in that connective tissue multiplies the speed of the hand, or amplifies the speed of the hand as you throw the hand out. Training like that, it's very, very easy to throw the hand out and bring it back as opposed to boxing. One of the ways to amplify that is to sit down slightly as you throw the hands out, because that turns your downward momentum into forward momentum. It's a whip-like chain reaction through the arm, which accelerates the hand very easily with minimum effort. And once you've grooved that movement, as I also talk about elsewhere in this clip, in terms of moving really slowly, once you've got that, you can start amplifying the speed. And then it's just a matter of breathing out and letting the hand go kind of like this. From the front, don't know if you can see my hand really well from here, but all I'm doing is bringing it out really easily, dropping it forward and bringing it back as fast as I can. And you can bounce off your own body. You can use that impact to allow both hands to fly out at a reasonable amount of speed so that you can inflict, for example, 2 or 3 strikes very quickly without an opponent being aware of what you're doing. From there. Very easy to do, but it requires relaxation, dynamic tension in the body, and focus. And as I said, that becomes an easy rhythmic sequence with no warning, no twisting of the body. From there. So just to sum up, remember that speed is not a function of muscular strength. It's a function of neuromuscular facilitation. It's a function of pliable and springy connective tissue, the motion moving through your body like a whip. Literally like an elastic that has been withdrawn and then released. There's a big difference between trying to strike yourself on your hand with your finger and curling your fingers and doing that, where you build up elasticity and simply let go. That is where real hand speed comes from. So try these drills out, see how they feel, and give me some feedback.